Today on VAiR TV, we speak with Kevin Beeson. He is a master level coach. He is a VAiR rater. He is an author. He is at conferences. He's an OG, been playing pickleball since 2018. Before that, he had a very established tennis career as a coach as well. We talk all things pickleball, including rating systems, and why VAiR is the future of pickleball rating systems. Stay tuned for that conversation with Kevin Beeson. All right, folks, let's welcome OG Kevin Beeson to VAiR TV. Welcome, Kevin.
Well, thank you very much, Sleeves, for having me. I love it.
Yeah. I call you OG because I think anybody that started playing this game before COVID sort of feels OG to me, because they seen some things that the rest of us didn't really get to see prior to that. So maybe just before we get into ratings and all that fun stuff, kind of walk us through a little bit of your background in racket sports athletically, and where pickleball sort of started in your life, and where it's taking you.
Well, I come from the dark side. Okay, so I come from a tennis background. Now, don't get me wrong, tennis players, don't jump down my throat here. I still think tennis is a great game, but it's been my whole life. Like my son says, Dad, you've only worn shorts your whole life. Okay, so about now almost 8 years ago, I got convinced into playing pickleball for the first time, and I said, I will give you 10 minutes. And you can't tell anybody. Okay. So I went to this private court to play with this guy, and I'm looking at my watch saying, okay, we got 9 minutes left. We got 8 minutes left. I'll be gall darn if it didn't turn into 45 minutes. And I left there and I had to go teach a tennis lesson. And it was the only tennis lesson I ever taught where I tried to teach my student how to dink. And that day changed that changed everything. Yeah. I was the director of a tennis club and the whole thing. I gave it all up to go all into pickleball. And I'm only going to have one. I always say, when we go, I hope we have no regrets. I'm only going to have one regret, and that is I wish I would have started playing earlier. Yeah.
I feel you, man. My wife was a PE teacher, and she told me about pickleball in 2003. And I was like, oh, that's a cute little adaptive game. and then like 20 years later, I'm like, filming myself playing. And I'm like, oh, man, if I would have taken this up just even in my early 30s, what could have been. But I sort of look at it this way, too, is not a lot of us get to find something athletically that we still can improve upon at the age you and I are. For me, that's great. That's the thing I love about it.
You said it. And that's what hooked me. At my age, when I started, in my 50s, right? Some people would say to me, well, isn't it going to mess up your tennis game? What tennis game? My tennis game was 30 years ago. So to be able to find something that we actually, at our age, could actually go out and improve on, right, that's what hooked me, right? I know it's social and all that, but what it was I found something that I actually could go out there and work on, improve on, and try to get 1% better every day. And that's still where I am today. I'm still trying to, every time I step on the court, I just want to be 1% better than I was the day before.
Yeah. And that's exciting for me too. And I'm glad to hear it, because you're 8 years into this. I'm 5 years into this. And I find new things that I can do and try every single time I step on the court. It's just specifically in drill sessions with my what I call my pickleball wife, who's a neighbor of mine. I'll hit a shot and I'm like, oh, I've never really swung at it like that before. Let me try this for a drop or a drive. And that's the process I enjoy, because like I was a distance runner. My heyday was in my 20s. I played sand volleyball, beach volleyball for 25 years. I peaked there in my late 30s, early 40s, which was nice. But then I just sat around and did a little bit of running, or as I call, I went out for a limp for about a decade, trying to run some senior track meets, and running times that I would have run in seventh, eighth grade. And so once pickleball came around, like you, I left all those things sort of behind because I had found something that I could really improve upon and go after. Um, Coming from tennis, though, you're in that world of what am I rated? What is my level? And that is, I had a buddy that a good friend I taught high school with who would tell me his ratings all the time, and those things were sort of foreign to me at that point. But he was always concerned about what rating he was with his tennis game because what level would he play in a tournament? And we're sort of in that place, obviously, with pickleball, where um, people really are concerned about the number that they feel represents their level. So, kind of give me your initial thoughts, moving from the tennis world where you've dealt with that, obviously, and into what's happening now in the pickleball community.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the tennis world, we definitely had the ratings as we find now in pickleball. Um, my personal feeling on it is I wish we could make it a little bit simpler. Okay, so we could maybe go A, B, C or something like that, because really the reason is which is taking away from the game, and it took away from the game of tennis also, in my opinion, is people stopped playing for the enjoyment of just playing, right? And they were playing for this number that they're watching. And here's the thing, sleeves, nobody's watching. Okay.
Right.
Nobody's watching. When we were in our 20s, maybe they were, right? When we got to our 40s, we were hoping they were. But once we got to our 50s, nobody's watching, right? And people are so stuck on this number, right? And where they feel like they fit in, right? And I think it's really taking away from the game. I mean, I got a quick story of running
Yeah.
running a mixed doubles thing the other day, and this mixed doubles team came in, and the first thing they think, we had a perfect number of teams, perfect. It was set to go. He said, with him and his partner, I don't know if it was his wife, girlfriend, whatever it was,
Right.
mixed doubles partner, who signed up. So I showed him, and he said, "We're not playing." I said,
Hmm.
"Why?" He said, "Because it's going to affect our rating." And I thought, oh my gosh, you are playing for all the wrong reasons. This is one of the greatest games there is. Play it for the love of the game, right? Play it for the love of the.
Right.
We are so
Yeah.
lucky playing this game.
Absolutely. And like you just mentioned, something that really hit home for me is nobody's watching. And that is, I don't know if that's depressing to people or not, or if it's something that is a relief and they don't have to carry that anymore. Um, for me, I've always sort of looked at what we talked about earlier. Am I still improving? Am I still challenging myself? Am I still discovering the joys of learning a new shot, discovering a new shot, getting better by that 1%, as you mentioned? Um, and if a rating comes along with that, and I played a few tournaments here and there, and I hope to play some more and maybe play in some leagues and stuff like that. But right now, I sort of always look at it as the evolution of my beach volleyball days. And I'm like coming up on 5 years into this, and I looked at where I was 5 years into my beach volleyball days. I was not good. I thought I was,
Yeah.
and I was a much younger man, but I did not have what I would call the decision making level that I needed to be where I was in my late 30s and early 40s, where I wasn't jumping as high, I wasn't hitting as hard, I wasn't as explosive, but I was a better player, mainly because I learned how to play the game and I didn't worry necessarily about who was watching anymore or starting around the court or showing off. I kind of got past all those things. and got to the point where I really just enjoyed the puzzle of the game. And so talk about that too. Like, you're a guy, you've been playing 8 years, you played tennis a very long time. Um, Talk about sort of that evolution of thought process and going from that mixed couple and thinking, oh, it's going to ruin my rating to a point where you're discovering, how to solve the puzzle.
Well, I think it goes back to, like I tell people all the time, every time we step on the court, it's not going to happen, but every time that we step on the court, think back to the first day you played.
Mm-hmm.
Think back when you started. You probably didn't know how to keep score. You didn't know the rules, but I'll be god darn, you were laughing and you were having fun, right?
Yeah.
So you were having a great time out there, and that's what brought you back the next day.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I know that there has to be ratings because of the growth of the game, and we have so many players. And yes, we need to be able to divide people into proper levels so they maybe continue to have that fun or the competition. Because when they first started, they all sucked. So they were all like bad, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter. But as they start to get better and better, yeah, you do want to play in your proper level. Okay. And you should be playing in your proper level, not what you think is your proper level.
Correct.
Yeah. Which is a big one. The evolution of the game has changed. And it's one of the great things about pickleball is that the game has changed so much with today's technology, the paddles, the balls, the emergence of these great athletes playing. And that's not only just at the young age, there's also some serious, great older athletes who are now starting to play pickleball, which is changing. 8 years ago,
Yeah.
we didn't hit the ball hard, right? It wasn't, we hit everything soft. Um, so that's, again, we have to be able to change to flow with the change. But here's the thing, okay? And this goes to the rating thing. And I've talked to a certain rating system about this. Is I'm okay. If you're 67 years old and you're playing and you're fortunate enough to be, let's say, a 4-5 or a 5-0,
Right.
but you
Right.
go out and play a 25-year-old, okay, 4-5, it's it's not the same.
No.
It's not the same.
No.
No, and no one, I don't care who you are, no, it's not the same. You're no longer competitive. You may be compatible,
Yeah.
which can still be fun, but you're not really competitive. And it's not that you don't know the same shots they know. And yeah, I can hit all the same shots they can hit. I just can't hit them as well because I can't get there as quickly as
Right.
they. And I think when it comes to the rating system, that's really something that really, really needs to be addressed is the age difference. Because we're finding more senior players are playing less competitive events because they don't want to be stuck playing against the 20 some, 30 some, and even 40 some year old players, right?
Right.
So I think that's where the rating system definitely has to be something done so we can equal that field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's what attracted you to VAiR. I mean, obviously the variables that VAiR has, and obviously the visual of seeing somebody play. We talked about nobody watching, but if you do want to get, have something or somebody watch you, we have that opportunity now to obviously break down your game in specific areas, and then obviously look at the variables which you mentioned that some of them being age, gender, and so on. So talk about kind of your attraction to getting involved with VAiR because you've obviously seen what's out there. You've experienced what was out there with tennis. You've experienced the emergence of rating systems as the game has come into tens of millions of people. So talk to sort of why you feel good about working in the sort of the VAiR universe.
Well, what attracted me to VAiR is number one was I don't think that VAiR is just a rating system. Okay. I think it brings a lot more to the table, right? And if that is personal growth, like some of the features that VAiR has, right? Where you can video yourself and then you can get back this feedback, these stats, right?
Right.
So now you can kind of self-coach yourself, right? And again, it's not asking, age doesn't matter. Okay. So I looked at VAiR really closely, and what I thought was, to me, VAiR is fair play. Okay. It's evening the playing surface or putting you where you should and not feeling like you don't belong there. Okay. And it's bringing the fun back to the game, is what I think. And I think that it's also with all the other features it has from, let me ask you this. Okay. Has your current official rating system ever seen you hit a ball?
No,
Has it ever seen you actually play?
no.
No. It's a math equation with a name.
Right.
Okay. And I think with VAiR, what we bring to the table is that opportunity to actually, you can be rated by a live person.
Yeah.
And that live person will take into consideration the things that the other rating systems won't. And that could be conditions. Maybe it's windy, right? Maybe
Right.
maybe it's you're playing on a court where maybe the levels aren't the same. Okay, they're not all equal, right? But so being a person, I can take that into consideration, okay, when we're rating you. So I think that VAiR just has so much to offer, is what I found. And I really thought that it was just an opportunity to bring the fun back to the game.
Yeah, I think the fun and the joy of the game, and with most sports, you kind of get to a level or a time period of playing where things can become mundane, and you can just get bored with it, or just drilling and doing this and not having any sort of litmus test or anything to measure yourself against. And I think that's what's great, is you have a qualified individual like yourself. See, Kevin Shirley's a VAiR rater, who has years of experience, seen thousands of people play different playing styles, and mentioned he can take in all the variables of those games that you're being rated on and give you really a blueprint if you don't have the time or the means for a coach, that you can go out there and actually make your sessions, whether they're rec sessions, open play, or drilling, useful. And you can obviously have things that are on point instead of just wasting your time working on something that you may be already pretty good at. You just feel comfortable doing it because you're successful at it. And
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think all that is great. I think that when you go out there, I was drilling this morning. As
Yeah.
my followers know, I think that drilling is king. And the gal I was drilling with, she said, why are we doing this? Why do we do this every day? Every day, why do we do this?
Yeah.
Which was really a good question,
Yeah.
because I don't really have a way to really monitor it. But if I was to tie in the VAiR program with it, where I'm
Mhm.
going out there and I'm drilling for, let's say, a week or 2 weeks every day, then I video myself playing, because there's no substitute for play. We know that. That's where
Right.
it's Joe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get the feedback. Okay. Then I go drill again for 2 more weeks. I do it again. I get more feedback. Right.
Right.
And seeing where, hey, my drops are improving. Okay. My drives are improving. Okay. Whatever it might be. And then I can go back to my drill partner and say, this is why we're doing it.
Right. I think that's right on because I think many of us, like I mentioned before, we just sort of go through the motions. And the current rating systems that are out there, they're so narrowly focused, as you mentioned, just the math equation. When we really have, with the technology that's out there, this opportunity to just look at all these different factors and just absorb and identify and work on specific areas that, and I'm a data geek. I like numbers, I like stats. I just lose, I go in that world and I'm like, oh, like what's my third shot drop percentage of, and things like that. Those things are useful to me because, like you mentioned, um, sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? Or what am I going to do today in my drill session? And I can look at the rating sheet and go, okay, clearly I'm having trouble with my um, percentage of arriving to the kitchen. I'm not getting there. Maybe I'm driving the ball too much. Maybe I'm dropping. Maybe I'm not mixing it up enough. Maybe my drops are hitting the net. Whatever it happens to be, it's just nice to have the feedback from a professional, like someone like yourself, who's looked at my game and really given me a nice, deep analysis of where I am and where I need to go if I want to get there.
Yeah, the ability to work with if to, the ability to work with AI.
Yeah.
Okay, AI is not going to take our jobs away from us, or it should be. It's AI is shouldn't do the job for us, but
Right.
we should be able to work together, right? So if you're videoing yourself playing, whatever, you get all these great stats back from AI and all this stuff. But if you also have that personal touch from a professional, right? That's adding to explaining, pretty much explaining to you what AI is saying, right? And that's easier to understand. And then you can go out there and you can look at what you're going to be working on, why you need to be working on it, because it shows you that yes, maybe your third shot drops isn't the best on that day, but did it correct you?
Right.
That's where
Right.
that's where the human comes in, right? That's where the professional comes in to say, okay, we can see from the stats, you need to improve on this, and this is how you're going to do it. Okay. And one thing that I really love about VAiR is that I love that feature of when you get rated, you not only get a rating, you get what your strengths are, you get what your weaknesses are. And then the most important thing of all, of wanting a rating. Why would I want a rating? Because I want to know how to get to the next level. And with that feature of giving you your rating, your strength, your weakness, and it tells you this is what you need to work on to get to that next level. It's just not leaving you hanging there saying, hey, you're a 3.7.
Yeah. Go get them next time.
Explain, can you explain why? Can
Right.
you explain
Right.
how do I get to a 4.0? Well, VAiR does that. And I think that's a great, great feature that they have.
And I think it's just a great addition and contribution to the game that is really an opportunity for us to sort of get out of our heads and really get into what we need to do to improve. Instead of worrying about our number, we can take that energy and really place it into getting the work done because now we have specific areas that we need to improve upon. And it's laid out for us with not only AI, but the insights and intuition of an actual human who's a professional rater. And that's what I enjoy about it. Kevin, before we get you out of here, obviously, tell us a little bit what you got going on, where folks can find you, and what you're looking forward to for the rest of the year.
Well, I've got a bunch of camps going on. I'm going to some beautiful areas. I'm going to Durango for a week.
Nice.
Uh, I'm going to Show Low, Arizona for 5
Woo.
each. I'm going to Cody, Wyoming for a week, all teaching clinics and camps there in these beautiful areas. And then you guys, I'll also be in Vegas, okay, in June, the 11th through the 14th. If you are at the Consumer Vegas show,
That's right.
come by and please say hi. I'll be at the VAiR booth, and we'll be spreading the word. If I could leave you with one thing, buddy, I tell
Yeah.
all the students, okay, learn to fall in love with the process and let the results be what they will be.
Yes.
So stop living and dying by this number.
Yeah.
Remember to fall in love with the process.
Yeah. That's a great great advice, and we'll leave it at that until next time. Folks, find Kevin's links all in the description. You can find where he's going to be and the conference he talked about as well as his camps, his Instagram handle, all that down below. Check it out. Get your free VAiR account. You can try VAiR Plus for 30 days. You can go and look, and maybe you just want to skip all that and get verified right away. Find that information below as well. Thanks for your time, Kevin, and
Hope you enjoyed
look
our
forward
conversation
to
with Kevin.
working with
All
you this
his
summer.
links are in the
All right,
description
buddy.
where you
Thank
can
you very
find him
much.
and follow him. And get your free account. Try out VAiR Plus for free for 30 days or get rated right away. Check out VAiR. It's the future and it's fair. All right. See you next time on VAiR TV.